one.
Well, today I am interviewing Mary White, who is a three principles practitioner based in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So, Mary, um, could you briefly share what your life looked like before you had your first insight into the three principles?
Yeah, so I was a very anxiety-ridden, stressed, perfectionistic, unhappy camper individual. Um, I'd had a lot of loss, disappointment, and some trauma in my past. And as a young adult, I was very lost. I had moments of reaching my peak, or at least attempting to. I had the resilience to rise up sometimes and be successful, but I always bottomed out again. And the last biggie was that I graduated from college, but because I had been so driven, so perfectionistic, and so miserable, I bottomed out in self-destruction. I found a group of people and got in a lot of in a lifestyle that was very unhealthy, abusive relationship. Almost lost my life, and luckily, I had the resilience to pull myself out of that. And then it was by chance, great chance, that I found the principles.
Oh, yeah. And when you discovered the principles, what was your first insight?
My first insight was a doozy, actually. My brother had introduced me to Mavis Karn in town, and before I went to see her, he had also given me some literature, so I was reading that. And I was reading a section about thought and reality. The author was talking about thought and reality, and I remember reading the same sentence over and over and over again, like, what is this person getting at? And then it was just like pop. And it was kind of like my merry mind went quiet, and all of a sudden the truth came to me, and I realized all my emotional suffering was thought created. And I cried because I knew that, well, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it that I hadn't seen that before. And that changed me. I I changed at that moment. Now, that didn't mean that all my habits of thinking fell away, but I couldn't take them as seriously as I had. And then I went to see Mavis, and she worked with me for quite some time, and we went deeper. And I had another insight when we were talking about the principle of mind, and I got it that there was nothing wrong with me, and that all the peace of mind and joy and well-being and security were already in me. There was nothing I needed to do about that or achieve about that. And I was an achiever. So that was huge. And when I saw that, I knew that was true for everybody. And I was so filled up with inspiration that I realized I have to share this with people. I got to tell people about this. So she then became my mentor and helped me. I went back to school and got my master's in psychology and jumped the hoops to become a licensed practitioner, knowing that I wouldn't be sharing what I was learning in school. And it's been about, I've been in private practice now for about 20 years, sharing this with individuals, couples, groups. Yeah.
Mm. And could you say something about how your life has changed since that time and how your practice changed since you gained a new understanding based on the principles?
Yeah. Well, life change was I went from anxiety ridden, my hornet's nest of a brain, to calm most of the time. Doesn't mean I don't have moments of nervousness or insecurity, but the anxiety was gone. The other thing, and from there, from that grounding of feeling good in myself and knowing where to look for my answers, I made lots of life choices, positive life choices. So my life flourished. As far as the practice goes, I had no idea what I wanted to do until I had that insight about, oh, I got to tell people about this. So I don't think I ever would have gone into the mental health field had I not learned this understanding for myself or had insight into it. And now it's 20 years later, and I'm still I'm still revamping, and not revamping, but up leveling and doing different things with my practice. So that's an ongoing evolution. But I wouldn't not have, I don't know what I would have done had I not found this.
Lovely. How do you see this understanding changing the field of mental health and or our understanding of the human spirit?
That's a tough question to answer. There's been moments when I felt so inspired and so hopeful that this is going to revolutionize the mental health field. And then there's other times when I feel like there's no way this is that the edifice of the mental health field is going to, really change. But I think it's going to be incremental, like it's evolving and been evolving and spreading around the world. And the more practitioners get on board and the more research that's done, it's seeping in. But I do have to say that my clients often ask me, why didn't anyone tell me this before? They've been to several therapists before me, and they're like, why didn't anyone tell me about thought? Why didn't anyone tell me there was nothing wrong with me? And all I can say is, well, they were well intended. They just didn't know, because they're trained in a different model that looks at what's wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Well, lovely. Thank you very much, Mary White.
Thank you, Christian.